Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going back to CodeSignal. We're on the database SQL coding exercises. If you're joining us in the middle of the playlist, I'll put a link in the description below so you can start from the beginning if you wish. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to the arcade, going to databases. And then we're on the last section here, a table of desserts, number 82, type inheritance. You're writing a transcompiler that will be able to translate programs from one programming language to another. Your transcompiler needs to be able to analyze a program to understand what data types it uses and how they should be mapped to the types of the output language. In order to handle this, you create an inheritance table which has the following structure: derived, which is a unique data type in the original language, and then base is the base data type from which the derived type is inherited. It's guaranteed that there are no cyclical dependencies. For each translated program, a variables table is created, which has the following structure: variable name, and then the type. Your task is to write a query that will find the variables of types that are inherited from the number type. The resulting table should contain var name and var type columns and be sorted by var names. All right, so this is the inheritance table, so it tells you from a class what's the base class for that. And then you can see in this case, this base class is also a derived class that has a base class of itself. So it's a hierarchy. And you can see that object is at the top of the hierarchy, and then it goes from object to number, then number to either double or int, and then from int to int 64. And here you've got the variables table, which just has what's the variable and what's its type. And what it wants is the variables that will have a class of number somewhere in the hierarchy. So int goes to number, double goes to number directly, and then int 64 goes to int, which int then goes to number. So if you go up 2 levels of the hierarchy, it still goes to number. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the code here. So here's the procedure. And in that procedure, we're creating a session variable. So you can tell it's a session variable because it's got the @ symbol. So it'll be in use until that session is over. So each time we set it to equal true, this just says if it's the first row of the column. And then we go through, well, the row count is greater than 1, or this at first is true, we're going to do this. So first thing, we're going to set the first to false because it's not going to be the first row anymore. And what we're doing in this update is we're basically taking this inheritance table and we're joining it to itself. So you can see it's joined on inheritance, and it's joining the base to the derived. So in this case, you'll see this base is int. It's going to join to this int here. And you can see there's also joins here where there's a number in the base. It will also join to this derived here. All right. So this is going to help us navigate through the hierarchy. So for int 64, it's going to eventually put in number as the base. So you can see that's what this statement here does. It sets the A base to the B base. So this one, int's going to join with this, and then it's going to take this number and it's going to set that to this so that the int 64, when we're done, is going to show as base number. And then important, we also put a condition where the base from the A table is not equal to number. So we don't want this relationship here. Otherwise, these numbers are going to be updated to object. And we just want it to stop once it hits number in the type hierarchy. All right, so that's what that does. It updates that to anything that is eventually going to hit number. It updates it. And then we just, once we have this, we just select var name from the variables table and type as, and then we do a alias to set it as var type, and that's only because that's what they want it called in this table that we're outputting. from the variables table, and we're going to join that to the inheritance table that we updated. And it's going to be based on the join type here to the derived here. So you can see variable A is going to go to number. Variable B here is not going to be joined because there's no derived object here. In 64, because we updated this into number, that will also show number. And then E, it will show as and base equals number. Okay. And we're also doing this where condition where the base has to equal a number. So that would be these three here. All right. All right, and then we just order by var type, and we go ahead and run that. And you'll see that that works. So from this table here, we get A, C, and D. All right, hopefully you guys are able to follow along with that, and you'll join me for future videos. Thank you very much.